Hello, everyone. Our start today is in a forest located in eastern Cameroon, where we see two people walking in the forest, obsessed with hunting. Their names are Rainer and Scott, and they are in contact with their third colleague, Charlie. As they walk, they hear a scary sound around them, causing fear and preparation to fire at any approaching creature. At this moment, Charlie loses contact with them, which frightens them even more. Shortly after, an attack on Rainer occurs. When Scott rushes to help, he cannot find him, and as he searches, a huge and terrifying monster appears and knocks him to the ground. Upon seeing the monster, Scott faints in fear. Just before the monster can kill him, Charlie appears with his gun, scaring the monster away and saving Scott from death. 7 years later, we see a teenage boy named Sam, who is stealing his mother Mitch's key to get some supplies from her shop to go on a trip with his friends to the forest. His friends Casey, Melissa, Jason, and Alex want to head straight to the forest, but Sam insists on returning the key home, because if Mitch finds out, she will kill him. He takes them back home, where he finds the key on the table and asks his mother for money. When she hands him her bag, he takes the key with him. Mitch stops him, but eventually convinces him to go out with his friends. She takes the key back, replaces it, and lets him leave. Outside, their friend Brittany arrives on her motorcycle. Initially reluctant, she eventually agrees to join them. They set off for the forest, but Jason gets lost until they come across an old man with a broken-down car. They decide to help him in exchange for guiding them. However, the old man becomes tense when he learns where they want to go. Brittany fixes the car and, after some persuasion, the old man agrees to guide them. He tells them they have to go 13 miles to the right. When Alex thanks him, the old man questions why he is thanking him and advises them to return to the city. Afterward, they continue their journey and reach an old house that Sam recognizes as his father's. They enter and find it very old. They decide to start their party, and Sam, for the first time, drinks alcohol and starts to misbehave. Later, Brittany notices an old picture on the desk showing Sam's father, and Sam tells her that his father died in mysterious circumstances during a hunting trip. It becomes clear to her that his father was extremely passionate about hunting. And then they play songs and Jason and Cassie start dancing on the table, but Sam is uncomfortable and afraid they might break it and asks them to get down, but they ignore him. Brittany intervenes, turns off the music, and tells them not to let him ask again and to do what he says immediately. They listen to her and decide to do something else, so each one takes their partner and goes to a different place, like Jason and Macy entering the room. Sam and Brittany stay sitting together, talking, and Brittany realizes that she loves him despite him being younger than the guys she has been with before. She is ready to be loyal to him even though she had better relationships before. It is clear that Sam has little experience with girls, and this might be his first time in a relationship. Melissa and Alex go out for a walk in the woods together, and when Melissa says she is scared and the forest looks scary, they hear a noise behind them. They get scared, Melissa runs quickly, Alex trips and falls to the ground. Melissa stops and laughs at him, but suddenly the monster appears behind her and attacks her, killing her. At that moment, Alex is terrified and runs towards the house. Everyone in the house hears him and rushes out to see what is happening. They find him running and falling to the ground, so they quickly help him get inside. But the monster appears again and drags him out of the house, so they quickly close the door, terrified. But the monster goes around the house and enters Cassie's room, locks the door, and Jason tries to save her, but the door is locked, so Brittany gives him an axe to break the door. When he enters the room, he is surprised by the terrifying appearance of the monster and tries to hit it, but the monster attacks him, speaking incomprehensible words. Brittany tries to reach the axe to hit him, but the monster notices her and attacks her, and to save her, Sam hits him with a glass on his back, causing him to retreat. Sam then grabs him by the neck, and out of fear, Sam accidentally urinates himself. At that moment, Brittany seizes the opportunity and hits him with the axe from behind. They quickly leave the house, run and get into the car. She tries to start the car, but the monster has reached them and breaks the glass. The monster grabs onto the car, and they drive off with it. But Brittany quickly maneuvers and crashes it into a tree, then escapes quickly. The next day, they see the police surrounded the whole place and found the 4 bodies. The news spreads on TV after Sam and Brittany inform the police about what happened, and the police want to know what kind of monster this is. But Sam and Brittany do not know exactly what kind of creature it is until Sam's mother and her husband Mitch arrive, and the officer tells them that Sam and his companion said the same thing, and if Sam says anything new, please inform them quickly. Then Sam goes and stays at home until Brittany comes to him and tells him that she has been trying to reach him for a few days, but he hasn't been answering his phone, so she goes into his room. Then she suspects that her father had been in the same situation and that this monster might have killed him. She also asked him where her mother's husband works, but he told her that he is in his normal job every day. She asked him where he is on full moon days. Sam was surprised by her question and asked her about the reason for her questions. She told him that the monster attacking them is not an animal, and she realized that animals do not speak and that it is most likely a werewolf. She knew that she suspected her mother's husband, Mitch, and she told him that he had to look at his back because she hit him in the back with a vase, and he must still have a mark on his back. He didn't know how he would do that, especially since he never went out completely naked at home and wouldn't be able to see his back even while showering. So she suggested that he look at it while he's asleep because it's hot weather and he might be sleeping without a shirt. Sam agreed and assured her that he would try to do so. At night, he went to see Mitch's notes and noticed that the moon was full every day. He found that Mitch didn't write anything on that day. That made him more suspicious and believed Brittany's words. So he waited at night and went to his room with a camera, trying to lift the covers to see if there was a wound or not. But he felt that his father would wake up, so he immediately left the room and returned to his room quickly. And indeed, Mitch sensed someone and grabbed his gun and went to Sam's room, but found him sleeping. And when he woke up quickly, Sam was terrified that he would realize he was pretending to be asleep. The next day when Brittany came, he told her what happened, and they saw him outside training. Then they go to Charlie and Scott, who we know are still alive and keep in touch periodically, but don't know what they've been doing for the past years. Then they return to Brittany, who goes to talk to Mitch to lure him, telling him she wants to try weightlifting and ask for his help. She then said she was very skilled in massage and asked to try it on him, and he agreed, continuing to lift his shirt. But the surprise was that there were no marks on his body, so she left him, saying she was in a hurry and had to leave. At this point, Mitch feels that there is something wrong, and it indeed becomes apparent that he is a werewolf, as his eye color changes. Sam and Brittany argue, and she tells him that he surely has certain abilities that allow him to heal from any wounds that happen to him. But Sam tells her he might be innocent and not a werewolf at all. As she leaves, Mitch returns and tells Sam what happened to Sam's mother, who is very upset that he ignored a teenage girl. But he answered her rudely and told her that this is his house, and he is free to do whatever he wants. Then he left and walked away. The next day, Charlie appears again, waiting for Mitch to leave the house. And as soon as he does, he knocks on the door, and Gwen is surprised when she sees him. We know that Charlie is Sam's uncle and Scott's brother-in-law before he died, and then Sam came down and greeted him, and they sat together and had coffee. But after a while, Mitch arrives, and then their expressions all change. When Charlie tried to greet Mitch, he refused, so he had to leave. And when Sam left with him, he told him to check his new phone, where he had written a message for him to read, and told him the address of the hotel where he was sitting because it was urgent that he come. After 3 journalists quickly went to Sam to ask him about what happened on Friday and wanted to know the details of the incident. But Mitch intervened and shouted at them, so they quickly ran away from him. At night, Sam went with Brittany to his Uncle Charlie, who welcomed them and opened the subject of the monster they saw, and told Sam that his father died because of this monster. This was a surprise to Sam because he knew that his father died in a regular hunting accident. Charlie began sharing all the details, explaining that his father and Mitch were old friends who once went on a hunting trip to Cameroon. Charlie had accompanied them on the trip but got lost along the way. Upon hearing a noise, he rushed back to find a monster attacking Scott. Charlie tried to defend Scott by shooting the monster in the shoulder, causing it to flee into the forest. When Charlie brought Scott back to the cabin, he found him dead. Later, when Mitch returned, Charlie noticed Mitch had a wound in the same spot where the monster had been shot. Strangely, the wound completely disappeared the next day. From that moment on, Charlie suspected Mitch might be the monster. When Charlie learned about Mitch's recent suspicious behavior, He decided to confront him and confirm the truth. If the suspicions proved accurate, they planned to kill Mitch. Charlie asked Sam and Brittany to collect any sample from Mitch's body to compare it with the DNA of the creature that killed Sam's father. If the DNA matched, it would confirm that Mitch was responsible. Sam and Brittany returned to Mitch's house to retrieve a sample. Brittany managed to collect some hair strands from Mitch's comb. However, Mitch came home unexpectedly. Brittany accidentally dropped the bag of hair under the table. While Brittany was trying to retrieve it, Mitch started coming upstairs. Sam attempted to stall him, but failed and texted Brittany, urging her to escape immediately. Although Brittany delayed for a moment, she eventually left. Strangely, she avoided talking to Sam and instead went straight to Charlie, giving him the hair sample. She insisted Charlie not tell Sam what she had done. Charlie sent the sample to the lab and awaited the results. The next day, Charlie met with Sam and told him what Brittany had done. He also mentioned that the DNA results would arrive at his hotel by mail the following day. They were unaware that Mitch had been spying on them and overheard everything. At one point, Mitch began transforming into his monstrous form, but managed to fight it off and return to normal. He left the area unnoticed. Meanwhile, Sam told Charlie he had been trying to contact Brittany, but she hadn't responded. Charlie suggested Sam visit her if he truly cared for her. The next day, Mitch waited at the hotel lounge for the DNA report. When the courier arrived, Mitch impersonated Charlie, signed for the package, and took the report. When Charlie came downstairs, the courier pointed out Mitch as the person who had signed for the package. Charlie quickly followed Mitch. Charlie tracked Mitch to a strange location. As Mitch was distracted by a phone call, Charlie sneaked in, opened the report, and took a photo of it. He emailed the results to Sam. However, as Charlie tried to leave, Mitch confronted him and knocked him to the ground. Meanwhile, Sam went to Brittany's workshop to talk to her. She seemed ready to reveal something about the day she collected Mitch's hair sample. But a group of reporters interrupted them, demanding information from Sam about the recent incidents. Brittany managed to get the reporters out and asked Sam to leave as well. As for Charlie, Mitch tied him to a chair in an unknown location. Mitch threatened to kill both Sam and Brittany, but Charlie insisted they knew nothing. Mitch was determined, convinced that they would eventually discover the truth. As he began to transform into his monstrous form, Charlie seized the opportunity, toppled himself from the chair, freed his hands, and tried to escape. Mitch chased him relentlessly, appearing from behind to strike him and inflict wounds on his face, treating the pursuit like a twisted game. Meanwhile, Sam and Brittany were in a trailer. Sam mentioned that Charlie should be receiving the DNA results by now and expected him to call. At that moment, he noticed an email from Charlie on his computer. They quickly opened the email and discovered the truth. Brittany confessed that when she stole Mitch's hair, she had to surrender herself to Mitch temporarily to convince him to let her go. Sam was furious, left her, and told her to stay out of his life. He declared he would deal with his problems on his own. When Mitch returned home, he seemed exhausted or troubled. Joanne, noticing his state, tried to ask what had happened, but Mitch snapped at her angrily. Sam came in to comfort his mother, who had started reminiscing about his father by sitting beside his old equipment. Sam told her they needed to leave Mitch behind and escape. He suggested they meet Charlie at the hotel and leave together. Joanne, worn out by Mitch's behavior, agreed. Later, Sam went upstairs to call Charlie, but he heard the phone ringing in Mitch's room. He entered and searched until he found the phone, which was Charlie's. Mitch caught him and yelled, demanding to know why Sam was holding his phone. Sam confronted him, saying it wasn't his phone, it was Charlie's. He accused Mitch of harming Charlie and revealed that he had seen the report and knew the truth. Mitch admitted he was the cause of everything, explaining that the cabin in the woods was the only place he went to avoid hurting anyone. He accused Sam's father and Charlie of intruding on the cabin during a full moon without informing him. Sam asked why his father and Charlie had to suffer if they didn't even know about the cabin. Mitch tried to approach Sam, but Sam pulled out a gun and threatened him. Mitch calmly told him that a regular bullet wouldn't kill him, and he could only be killed by silver. Mitch taunted Sam to shoot, but Sam knew it wouldn't make a difference. Mitch added that if he died, Sam's mother would leave him, and the police would immediately suspect Sam as the culprit. Joanne entered the room confused about the argument. Sam reassured her, saying it was nothing, and escorted her out of the house. While driving away, Sam asked his mother to drop him off, telling her to leave town and wait for him outside the city. Though confused, she trusted him and complied. At the same time, Mitch went to Brittany's house, attacked her, and used her phone to call Sam. Mitch warned Sam that if he didn't show up at the cabin in the woods that night, Brittany would die. Meanwhile, the team of journalists arrived at the cabin, intending to take pictures. They entered through a broken window but soon spotted a car pulling up in front of the house. Terrified, they hid in one of the rooms. They saw Mitch carrying Brittany, bound and unconscious, into the house. Terrified, the group of girls debated escaping, but froze when Mitch seemed to hear their whispers and realized they were hiding in one of the rooms. Mitch stayed quiet, making them think he had left. When they cautiously stepped out and freed Brittany, Mitch, now fully transformed, attacked them. Some managed to escape the house, but Mitch pursued and slaughtered them one by one. Meanwhile, Sam arrived at Brittany's house and found it wrecked. Determined to confront Mitch, he grabbed a silver knife, mounted her motorcycle, and sped toward the cabin in the woods. Upon reaching the cabin, Sam heard screams and rushed inside, bolting the doors behind him. He found a boy and a girl still alive. He urged them to arm themselves with anything they could find. One girl decided to boil oil on the stove, while Brittany armed herself with a bow and arrow. Mitch soon broke into the house and killed the boy, leaving only Sam, Brittany, and the girl. Terrified, the girl stood with her back to the door. Mitch smashed through, killing her instantly. Sam and Brittany ran into another room, where Brittany readied her bow and Sam prepared the boiling oil. When Mitch attacked again, Brittany shot multiple arrows at him, slowing him down but failing to stop him. Mitch lunged at her, knocking her to the ground. Sam hesitated to throw the oil, fearing it might harm Brittany. As Mitch overpowered Brittany, Sam intervened, but was also knocked to the ground. Seizing a brief moment, Sam threw the boiling oil on Mitch, followed by a lit flame. Mitch caught fire as Sam and Brittany fled the house. The inferno engulfed the cabin, culminating in a massive explosion. Finally, Mitch, the monster responsible for the deaths of Sam's father, uncle, and countless others, was gone. Sam and Brittany emerged from the woods, scarred but victorious, knowing they had saved many lives from Mitch's future rampage.